Hi, it's Wendi Jensen, and I wanted to share a message with you as you're going into the holidays with your family members, and you spend time with them, and you're at the dinner table, or you're spending days with them even. You might be a little bit anxious as you're going through your faith transition, and a faith crisis can really stir up a lot of emotional friction and weird energy, and I wanted to share a couple things to help support you during this time. So one thing to remember is you get to be in charge of the energy you're bringing to the party. You get to be in charge of your energy. So if you're coming in this place with your family members expecting to have awkward conversations or to be shunned or to not be included, if you're going in with that energy, you're going to create some chaos. You're going to create some awkward moments. If you go in fully okay with who you are, completely grounded with the experience that you're having, you're not in a place of shame or embarrassment about the fact that you are learning and growing and it's starting to move outside the paradigm of the family dynamics. If you're not afraid of that and you're not ashamed of it, then it's really hard for them to ignite the shame in you. Allow them to have their shame and their awkwardness and their questions and their uncomfortability, but you be in a place of I'm okay. And if you're going to go into your family experience and your family event, really feeling like it's their responsibility to include you and to treat you normal, and it's their responsibility to be careful about the questions they ask, you are going to get disappointed, you're going to get let down, you're going to get frustrated. So in my book, A Peculiar Transition, I'll leave the link below, there are 4 steps to waking up. It's not just waking up that we're doing. We're not just waking up. If you're just waking up, you're going to get hurt, you're going to have resentment, you're going to feel rejected. You need to grow up too. You're the one that is increasing your consciousness, so you need to grow up. And you need to clean up. And you need to clean up the old energy, is what I talk about in the book. And you need to show up. Now, clean up and show up don't really apply to your family situations, but the grow up does. And the grow up is the hard part. But when you exercise some of these things, you are empowered. You're the one that's taking charge of how you feel about the situation. And so part of that growing up is not making your family members responsible for treating you a certain way. They're just going to operate the way they've always operate. You can fully expect them to do what they've always done. Expecting them to be any different is going to drive you crazy. So that means you're the one that needs to include yourself in the activities. You're the one that needs to extend yourself. You are the one that needs to show up with affection, communication, and attention to them. And when you do that, what they see is, oh, she's still the same person. She still loves me. She still treats me the same. Everything's going to be okay. They might not think everything's going to be okay, but you're giving them a sense of confidence that you're still you. And you're not this damaged, lost soul who is angry at everybody. And so that's just one big thing, is we have to be the ones to grow up. Don't expect them to be any different. Don't expect them to make an effort to include you. They're just going to feel as awkward as you do. They're as uncomfortable about what's going on with you as you are about what's going on with them. So you take the lead and say, we don't need to be uncomfortable. We don't need to love each other less or any different because I'm having a belief shift. So that's one thing I wanted to start with. And recognize that shame that you're feeling, with the division in family members, that shame is the responsibility, or it bears the burden lies within the doctrines of the church. That shame is separating families. It's not your shame. It's not even their shame. It's a shame that the doctrine has imposed upon us. The shame about leaving, the shame about what's going to happen to your family and what kind of person you're going to be. All of that is in the doctrine. And so don't blame them for the shame, and don't feel it. Don't enmesh with the shame. Notice that it's there, but it is the burden of the doctrine that creates the shame. And so just don't try to enmesh with it. Don't interact with it. Don't play with shame. And if you see them being shameful or being ashamed of you, just notice that they're entranced in the doctrine. And remember how it felt to be in their position. And they haven't studied the things that you've studied. They haven't been on this journey that you've been on. So don't expect them to be any different. Give them a break. They're still in the doctrine. They're still growing in that place. And you want to be accepted. You want to just feel like things are normal. So start by giving them that. Accept them where they are. Make them feel like nothing is wrong. That you don't have some problem with the fact that they are believing in the doctrine. And they will hopefully reciprocate that. Not everybody will, but a lot of times they want things to be as comfortable as you want them to be. So another thing is, there's times when these awkward conversations come up. Like everybody's talking about what's going on at church, or they're talking about a doctrine, they're talking about a general authorities talk. And so when they go into those conversations and it starts to burn your ears, and you all know what I'm talking about if you've been through a faith crisis and you're transitioning out of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there's times where some of the conversations just burn your ears. They make you sick, nauseous, even very anxious. Here's what you can do. Go find the kids. The kids they're not doing that stuff. They're not talking about those things. They're playing games, maybe they want to play a game. Or they're doing something outside. Go find the kids and go cheer them up, go encourage them, go create a relationship with your younger family members. They always need a good mentor and someone to support them. And any bad things that they hear about you later on, they're gonna be like, no, she wasn't like that. We had fun with her at Thanksgiving. We had a lot of fun with her at Christmas. Why are Mom and Dad talking all those weird things? When you establish a good, healthy relationship with the kids, they're going to appreciate it. So go find the kids if it's getting kind of awkward. They'll always be doing something fun, and they're not going to judge you. So the next thing you could do is invite them to play a game. Invite everybody to play a game. Bring a game with you. Because when you're playing a game, you're not really talking about all the other political and religious stuff that's going on. And so go encourage them to play a game. And if all else fails, go clean the kitchen. I mean, come on. Whoever's making the meal or hosting the dinner would love for you to help them out. And what does that say to them? It means I love you, I respect you, and I'm sensitive, and I want to serve. And it's kind of interrupting their idea that you're the sick, deranged, lost, deceived person. So go help with the kitchen. Just go help out if things get awkward and there's nothing else to do. So here's some things you can do. If people ask you weird or intrusive questions, and you can use this even if it's not a family holiday, just sometimes people are so weird that way. They will ask questions that are so inappropriate and so intrusive. And there's one thing that you can use, a question you can use to respond back. Yeah, respond back with a question. So if someone asks, I noticed you're not wearing your garments. That's kind of a question. They're expecting you to respond. You just say, why would you say something like that? Why would you ask something like that? If there is something you don't want to respond to because you know it's going to be an awkward conversation, and they know there's trying to squeeze questions out of you or squeeze information out of you, just ask them point blank. Why would you say that? Why would you ask that? Because it puts it back onto them to have to really look at how rude it is and how awkward it is and how maybe it's inappropriate. So, and then if they respond back when wanting to know and keep prodding and poking in information you really don't want to share, then tell them, just say, what I put down here? Let them know that the nature of the topic isn't one that you want to discuss at family events, but if they want to get together sometime, you would be happy to discuss it. If you would, maybe you never want to discuss it. If you don't, then just tell them that this is a private experience you're going through, and out of respect for their beliefs, you'd rather not talk about it. And leave it at that. They don't need to know. All they need to know is that you love them, you're still the same person, you're on your own journey, and everything's gonna be okay. The more natural you feel and the more normal you act, the easier it's gonna be for them to adjust and believe that you're still the same person and that your love for them isn't changing because your beliefs have changed. So, a couple things not to do when you are in a family situation for the holidays. That is, don't use that time to announce that you are leaving the church. Don't make the holidays or family activities like a wedding or something like that, don't make it about you and your transition. Don't make it about your crisis. Talk to them either privately or personally, or make an event specifically to announce that you're leaving if you need to do that. But don't make the holidays and special occasions opportunities for you to announce your faith crisis, because, hon, it is disturbing them. It's frustrating, it's scary, it puts them into grieving, and it flips them into all kinds of emotional reactionary situation. And so don't use family time to announce that you're leaving or you no longer believe. Be respectful. The other thing is, don't stand off waiting for them to accept you or include you. And I kind of already talked about this. You just jump right in. Jump right in and be normal. Make them feel comfortable around you. You know, one of the things that we learn as we leave is how judgmental we were in the church, and sometimes we transfer that judgmental over to that judgmentalism over to church members, and now we're really judgy about them. We're not as judgy about the rest of the world, but we certainly are about those who are still in the religion. So notice, you know, you don't want to be a judgy person. You are moving beyond that. You are growing up, and so we've got to clean up this judginess, and you don't want to be judged by them. Don't judge them. Be okay with wherever it is they are. Accept them where they are, and that leaves more space for them to accept you where you are. Treat other people like you want to be treated. So we learned that at church, right? So the next one is, don't be bringing your attitude about their beliefs to the holiday family table. Just some things of etiquette. If they're saying the prayer, say the prayer the way that you were taught to say the prayer. Be respectful of their beliefs. If you were to go into the home of a Muslim family, or if you were to go into the home of someone who practiced another religion, you would be respectful of that religion. So be respectful of those who are still in the church, and just follow along. Don't make it about you and you trying to make a statement that you don't believe this or you don't believe that. And we do that sometimes by what we wear. So I'm going to be really specific about this. If nobody knows that you've left, this is not a time for you to wear a sleeveless top or to, announce to the world that I'm not wearing my covenant clothes because it's making it about you. Now, if they already know, show up and wear whatever you darn well feel like wearing. But what you're wearing should not be the announcement of you leaving. Be sensitive. I always say, when with the natives, dress like the natives, act like the natives. And if most of your family is LDS, fall in. Just fall. It's not going to hurt you to fall in. They're not going to reconvert you. They're not going to hurt you. You're still on your journey. Don't let the doctrine interfere with your relationships with the family. Just make a commitment. I'm not going to let the doctrine interfere with my relationship with my family members. I'm going to love them regardless. So don't do anything that would compromise your beliefs. I'm not asking you to do that, but be respectful of theirs, and hopefully they will show that same respect. It's not guaranteed, but hopefully they'll show the same respect for you. So treat them how you want to be treated. expect nothing. In fact, you could even expect conflict, but really expect nothing. Just be in a place of you. Don't let the doctrine dictate how you're going to react with your family members. Don't let it be the boss of your relationships. Forgive them for their insensitivity and the things that they say. Remember how deeply you were entranced too. Remember the insensitive things that you said when you didn't know any better. Give them space to still be in that place where they don't know that that was rude or insensitive. If you're brave enough to talk to them about it and just say, you know, when you say that, it makes me feel like this, this, and this. And that's like a whole different video. But for the most part, just forgive them for their insensitivity and move on. And remember that the thickness of the indoctrination that you've been wading through, it has a grip, and it's weird, and it can get awkward. But don't let your beliefs interfere with your ability to love those who think differently than you, who act differently than you. You get the doctrine. You get what it feels like to be inside of that paradigm. Allow them to be there. Be respectful of them being there. And don't expect them to enter into your world and understand what's happened to you. It's too complex. It is too much for them to hear. And if they're ready to wake up, they're going to do it on their own. And if you treat them with respect at these family events, they're likely going to come to you with their questions, and they're going to come to you as a safe place as they're transitioning out as well. And if not, then just let it all happen naturally, and let them know that you're still the same person, that you love them, and that doctrine is not going to affect how you feel about your family members. So those are the things I wanted to share. Happy holidays. You can look below and you can get information about how to get onto my website or get a copy of A Peculiar Transition and get more information about how to heal the trauma of Mormon faith crisis. And have a happy Thanksgiving and a happy Merry Christmas. Take care. Bye.